Time for another Monday YouTube video. Oh man, see that intro? See how I switched it around there? Wow, we're really getting crazy here with the editing, man. Really upping my production value. Don't know what's gonna happen next. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Glenn. So today in this video, I wanna talk about habits. Good habits, bad habits, and understanding how habits work and how you can use that to your advantage and help you live your best life. So something I've learned about people, just as I've been going on my own journey and watching how other people live their lives and the people who are out there doing stuff that I want to be doing, is that what's amazing about the human body is that the human body can adapt to almost anything, where any habit that you can take, as difficult or unattainable as it may seem, given enough time and repetition, the body will eventually adapt to a place where it considers it to be normal. And you can kind of think of life in terms of what your habits are, as far as like what your patterns during the day are, as your morning and evening ritual routines, the habits of what you eat, the habits of what thoughts come into your heads when you respond to a certain situation, if something good happens or if something bad happens. And by being mindful about what those habits are and modulating them, you can start to make some really big positive changes in your life. One personal example I wanted to bring up first is that there was a time where I was drinking a lot of diet soda, and even recently, still something that I'm struggling with. But it wouldn't be uncommon for me to drink, 4 or 5 cans of soda before dinner on a given day. And, a couple years ago, that would have been astounding. Like, I would have been feeling sick. My energy levels would have been way all over the place. But giving enough repetitions, eventually my body just took that as normal. To the point where if I didn't have 4 cans of soda a day, I would start getting some withdrawal symptoms, or I'd get angst, I get like jittery. And it could even get to the point where if I didn't have 4 cans of soda in a given day, then I'd start going through withdrawal symptoms. I'd start, feeling like tired, or I might get some headaches, or my energy levels would just be off. So that's something that my body was able to adjust to after enough time. And so now that I'm trying to eat healthier as well, my body is also having to take some time to get used to not drinking as much soda in a given day and getting used to finding other things as replacements and, trying to find my stimulus and my energy from elsewhere. To further drive this point home today, I want to look at 2 other social media personalities and content creators out there today who I think really just accentuate how the body can adjust to these sort of extremes given enough time and repetition. So the first character I want to talk about is a guy named Nikocado Avocado. Some of you guys might have heard of him. He's much more popular than I am. But he's a famous mukbang YouTuber, and he's gotten all these videos on his channel of him just eating absurd amounts of food and filming himself doing so. Chicken wings, pasta, whatever. And it's crazy. And if you go back and watch some of this dude's history, and he's a bit of a controversial figure, and I don't want to get into that now for this point, but he used to be a much thinner guy. He used to be a much smaller dude, like even smaller than I am right now. And, given enough time, he kept upping the ante and having to make more and more extreme videos where he's eating more and more food, to the point where this guy's eating many more thousands of calories a day than I would ever do, and that's just what his body takes as normal. And granted, it's not healthy for him to, be eating as much as he is, but if he were to sit down and eat 6,000 calories in a day versus how I would feel after eating 6,000 calories in a day, his body's gonna handle it a lot better than mine is. Like, where it might kill me or put me in the hospital, his body's just like, yeah, okay, day in the life. We're feeling kind of sluggish, but that's what we're used to. Then if you go to the opposite extreme of this, an opposite extreme of lifestyles, I look at an individual like David Goggins, who's all over YouTube and Instagram. He's a former Navy SEAL, just constantly embracing the suck, constantly putting the pedal to the metal, and always pushing himself to new physical heights. I mean, look at this dude on any given day. He's running hundreds of miles in a week. He's completing ultra marathons. He's knocking out loads and loads of cardio and calisthenics, doing crazy stuff in extreme heats and extreme colds. And once again, while that would certainly kill a lot of people to put in the amount of miles that this guy is trying to do, at this point, his body is just used to it. It's like, okay, 1,000 push-ups in a day? Yeah, that's something we've been before. That's how his body knows how to respond to that and what that feels like to deal with that. And once again, we can talk about the long-term health ramifications of that, but it's certainly something that his body has gotten into a rhythm of expecting and seeing as normal over time. So the main point I want to drive home by pointing out examples from my own life and from these 2 other individuals is that whatever habit you're trying to adopt, as difficult as it may seem, as unobtainable as it might seem, eventually, if you keep at it, you put in the repetitions and time, your body will get used to it at some point. It'll establish a new level of homeostasis where whatever you're taking on is going to feel like just part of your everyday life. So if you're struggling to improve your diet, you're trying to exercise more, you're trying to, like for me as a voice actor, post more regularly on social media for marketing purposes, or, doing more auditions in the booth. It might be a challenge at sometimes where I have to start getting comfortable with taking the time out of my day to do that, where I have to get over some insecurities about putting myself out there, putting out work that could be potentially judged and critiqued by other people. But given enough time and repetitions, eventually that's just going to become a reality. And it'll be hard for me to even remember a time or think about what it was like to do things otherwise. And there's a sense of comfort, I think, in that, at least for me, where I look at anything that I want to do, that I would like to integrate into my sort of ideal life. And I realize, okay, I might not be there yet. I might have a hard time running as much as I want to, eating the kind of foods that I want to do because my body's not used to it or it's challenging me. But I understand just from looking at my own life, looking at other people and what other folks have done, that eventually this is something that I can do and settle into a rhythm with. And it'll eventually get to a point where that's just what I do. That's just where my normal is. So don't be discouraged by things just because they're hard or because it's taking a while for your body and your mind to adjust to them. Because the mind and the body are designed to adapt to our environments and our habits and surroundings. And as long as we keep perpetuating the sort of things that we want our life to be about, the body is going to change its chemistry, it's going to change its wiring, and eventually it'll accept it as the new normal. So, whatever you're trying to do in your life, I wish you guys all the best. Keep sticking with it. And don't get frustrated with yourself, man. Just accept the journey for what it is. Accept that difficult times are going to come. And you don't need to expend more energy being anxious or upset about that than you need to. I love you all. I wish you guys all the best. And thanks again for tuning in. Be putting out a video next Monday as always. And take care. God bless.